Nick Collins here on the Phil Collins tour. We're here in Berlin at the Olympiastadion. I think that's the right pronunciation. Doing the kit run through for the kit that we're using. We've been doing this tour for we started in June 2017. So we've been using this kit the whole time. It's a Gretsch USA Custom with just, white finish. There's only a certain amount of finishes you can do with this kit. It's either the white or the classic black that Dad had. A few others, but you kind of can't really get too crazy with it. But this finish I really love because whenever the lights go on, it really kind of reflects it really well. But we'll start with the drums themselves. So these are all the sizes that my dad used because kind of have to do the sound. And at home, I do use some of the concertoms, but not all the time. But with this, you kind of have to. This is the 8-inch, 8, 10, 12, 15, 16, 18, and 14-inch snare drum. I think it's by a 7x14. And then this is a 13-inch. So this is just a standard Gretsch snare. This is the hand-hammered chrome. Which is kind of side snare stuff. We're not doing much of it on this tour, on this leg, just for the song selection. We haven't done that many with that one. This is a great sounding snare. We were using Noble Cooley, but Gretsch, just the color and just everything was just really great. And we use a Diplomat on this one, on this head, just because it's got that kind of crack to it. And the ambassadors on all the other ones, which are thin heads, but if you kind of put heads that are too heavy on these drums, they don't really sound the way they should. And then I forgot about the bass drum, is a 20-inch. It's a really small bass drum, so when when there's no subs on, it kind of sounds a bit weak, but as soon as this gets turned on and I've got the Porter and Davies thrown, it just gets really massive. But it's good. It's got the punch for this kind of for the set that we're doing, and just got an ambassador smooth white head on it. And actually, the front head has barely got any of it on. It's only kind of got the kind of outline, and the rest has just got the pillows and everything. And and then an ambassador X on the snare drum. Really thin heads, but it's kind of just the best thing for the way it sounds. An ambassador on the other snare as well. So then we're using old DW hardware with the DW rack that we had, because the thing with this kit is the way it's placed so complex that when you're just using real stands, it really starts to kind of, every time you set it up, it's set up a bit differently. You can't really get it to be consistent. So this rack is just easy. Places it on and then it's all perfect. Your Sabian Cymbals start here. We got this little stack, which we only added when we started doing Australia back in January of this year. So we've got a little Ozone, I believe that's a 10-inch, and then a little stack on top, which I think is just an AA splash. All the crashes and the ride that I'm using are artisan cymbals. This is, I believe, a 16, crash, then two 19s, these two, a 20-inch crash, and then another 16, I think. And then this is the Chad Smith 21-inch Holy China, which is my favorite part of the kit. Even though I don't get to use it that much, when I do use it, it's enjoyable. And then AAX accelerator hi-hats, 14-inch. DW 9000 pedals, which, just reliable. Actually, the other day, one of the bass drum beaters snapped in the middle of a song, but, it's all right. I love the pedals. They're just smooth and good response that I get. And it's kind of one of those pedals where you can just set them up and they work straight away. You don't need to kind of start adjusting all the tensions and all that. It's pretty straight up, easy to work with. Promark Sticks, I'm using, has my name on it. It was, when I got the sticks, I wanted it to be based off the Steve Gadd Vic Firth stick, just with a bit more weight and a bit more length to it. And then we kind of came up with these. I used to have, when I first started doing it a few years ago, it had I don't even know what kind of tips it had, but it was just going through the heads, just denting them every single time. So these are good, and they, depending on the night, they either last the whole show or they, break. I was using the fire grain ones, but when you kind of consistently use them, it just kind of stains all the heads, all the cymbals. And I forgot about the ride. The ride is a 21-inch artisan ride. They're all brilliant finishes, which, adds, when all the lights come down, it looks really good. And I love the ride because the thing about the ride is obviously it's got a nice, bell. But also when you hit it as, when you go ahead and hit it, even as a crash, we do this big drum duet during the set, and it just sounds really good when it's mic'd up, even as a crash. And then, so all of these are concert toms, and they don't have the bottom head, kind of the classic Phil Collins sound. On certain songs it comes out, that you don't need the whole sound, but on songs like In the Air and all that kind of stuff, you need it. And if you were playing on any other kind of drum set, it would sound pretty terrible. And then back here we've got the Roland Sp Dx Pad, which for this set that we've been doing on this European leg in all these stadiums, we haven't really been using it because we were using it on the song Can't Turn Back the Years, which we're not doing this leg, but we were doing it on every other one. And we did use it on One More Night as well, which is just, it was tough at first to kind of get used to playing the drums and thinking as a drum machine, not as a drummer, to not, without doing any fills. And to really, you're playing, my bass drum is here, so it's bass drum, hi-hat, snare, and then all the toms, whatever. It's like an 808 kind of sound. And just really staying consistent with it without, with just your hands, with no pedals was a challenge. But now it's pretty good, and it's pretty reliable, always works. But I don't really get too crazy with this. I know drummers who have the whole show programmed through their SPD-SX. I don't really know how to use it. I just kind of have this sound, and it's all really I use. And obviously we just have a random metronome that we have. And I think, that's about it.
What about the cymbal holders?
Cymbal holders, they're just the standard DW ones that come. I think they're just reliable because, although they kind of spin off once you've got them at the right tension, I haven't really had any problems with it. And just to me, the DW stands are the best ones to use, just because I've used plenty of stands and, all of a sudden you just have one lean in, but also them being on a rack makes it much easier. And because at the angles that they're at, back home I use a kit with my stuff and my band, which is just a kind of standard Bonham kit. I don't have a 26-inch kick, I have a 24, an 18 by 24, and then a 14, 16, 18. But all the stands are straight up, they're not at an angle. This is pretty complex setup as far as the cymbals go, just because trying to fit them in with all the toms, that it's just more, it's easier on a rack. But we haven't had any problems with it, and it's a great sounding kit, especially when it's mic'd up and we start playing the set, especially on some of the songs Against All Odds. As soon as that first fill hits, it's just this drum set that has that sound. And when we do during the drum duet, I go out front with Richie Garcia, the percussionist, on the road with us, and my dad, and we do a bit of a cajon thing, and that's just an LP standard cajon. Not too fussy about that. And I think that's about it. Cool. So thanks for watching. Yeah.
This is the sampler rack we used initially on the 2007 Genesis Turn It On Again tour for Phil's drums, and it went into storage after that tour. And when we were gonna do this tour, we got it out and everything worked fine. And I looked into different samplers, Alesis and everything else, and for what we needed it for, this works fine. Just 3 drums, 3 samples, and there you go, it's done. Yeah, works fine though. It's just old. This thermometer has been in the rack since the We Can't Dance tour with Genesis in '93, and the light still works. I find that incredible. What was that, 30 years ago?
That's a piece of history, you know,
Yeah.
right there. And the sampler, how many tours has it actually seen?
How many tours?
Yeah.
Just Genesis in 2007 and this.
Okay.
And that's all.
Right.
I was going to take it home at one point, then I just
Okay.
didn't want to pay shipping. CS5, it's been MIDI modified, so it's possible to play this through MIDI. But we brought it along on this tour just in case we need to resample the Cymbals sounds that we use. But so far, we haven't had to turn it on.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks a lot for this.